Is it too loud? No stress. I'll go drill sergeant mode. That's okay. I think I scare Luke's class every time I sub because I'm yelling, but it's because the music's so loud, not because I actually want to scare them. So I'll activate drill sergeant mode. Guys, we're on the ground today. We're starting on the ground. No, I'm not going to lie. Today is pretty tough. I definitely forgot that today was Tuesday, not Monday. So we speed ran through a workout for today. I didn't have time to memorize it, but I drank an entire Celsius. So we're gonna make things happen. It's full body, a little bit more emphasis on the legs and the arms, but the arms will be like bicep curls and stuff like that. So if you want to get a heavier weight, feel free. That being said, please take breaks whenever you need. And if you need a modification, let me know. I'm always more than happy to give you one. I promise it's not weird to take a break in the middle of a set. So if we're all doing the exercise and you want water or you just want to be done for the moment, it's completely okay and it's completely normal, especially for Pilates workouts. Other than that, we're just going to go ahead and get started in the child's pose. So our knees are going to be a little bit wider on the mat. We're going to walk our hands a little bit further down. And we're just going to take a nice stretch here, really focusing on the breathing. Walking our fingertips a little bit further forward, really trying to find that stretch through the upper back. Feel free to rock your hips side to side if you want to add a little bit more flow here. Just a gentle warm-up before we get started. Not one of the crazy, insane warm-ups that we usually have. Another deep breath. Let's go ahead and walk our hands over to the left. We're going to plant the left hand down on the ground. Right hand's going to come right over top of the left. Feel that extra stretch through the right side body. It's almost like you're trying to push your right shoulder into the floor here. So you should definitely be feeling that stretch through the shoulder, maybe into the low back and the hips. Just make sure that you're doing those big, deep breaths. Lets your body know that it's okay to relax here. Exhale, walking back to center, and then all the way over to the right side as far as you can. Left hand's coming right over top of the right. And we're going to push through that left shoulder. Big deep breaths, in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold, and repeat. Till you feel that muscle in your left shoulder release. And then we're coming all the way back to center, holding here gently, that child's pose. Before we get into a little bit of a flow, if you've been here before, you probably know the cat-cow extended version that we usually take. So we're coming up, find that tabletop position, and we're dropping our hips down to the mat. Push back, child's pose, and coming back, extending that cat-cow. Doing this with your breath at a pace that feels comfortable for you. Just remember, we're expanding through the belly as we dip, lifting up through the chest. Feel that stretch to the back. And as we press back, we're rounding out through the core, bringing the ribs to the hips. Might try lifting your chest a little bit higher, rounding your back out just a little bit more. Try to do one more. Nice stretch there. And we'll come all the way back to that tabletop position. We're going to start out with a little bit of a bird dog series. You can do it weighted or unweighted, but all we're doing is lifting up that left arm, kick back that right leg. And we're just going to lift and lower. Lift and lower. You should feel like there's a grapefruit that you're trying to hold under your chin, or maybe just a really big orange. Make sure you're looking at the top of your mat. Try to keep that core engaged. We want that straight line from our fingertips, top of our head, shoulders, hips to toes. Squeeze through that right glute. Slow and in control. Last one, we're going to keep that lifted and just pulse it out. Feel the activation through the shoulder. Use that back, making sure you're lifting up through your core. Three, two, and one. Go ahead and lower down. We'll switch to the right hand side now. So we're just lifting, engage through the belly, and lower. You can take it into that full crunch, bring elbow to knee if you want, or you can just keep the taps. Totally up to you. If you are doing it weighted, just make sure you keep it even. Same way you did with your left side. So if you had a weight on the left, I'd recommend using a weight on the right. Just breathing through it. Find that length. Keep that balance. Try not to shift. We're just lifting that arm and that leg. Last one, let's lift and pulse it out. Keep that constant tension in those muscles. Just a gentle warm-up. For 3, 2, and 1, lowering all the way down. Let's come back to that first side. So again, we're going to do that bird dog. We're going to lift up arm and leg, but we're going to bring our hand and our foot to the sides and windshield it out, lowering back down. Lift, windshield, keep that balance, focus on that core stability, bring it back to the front. Trying to feel the different muscles activate through your glutes here. Keep that back strong. This is also helping your range of motion, so your mobility of your hip and your shoulder here. If you can only get to the sides of the corners of your mat, opposite corners of your mat, that's completely okay. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you're going to bring your arm all the way to the side and your leg all the way to the opposite side. We'll do one more here. Bring our arm and legs to the sides and just pulse it out. You've got it. Deep breaths. Whatever pace is comfortable for you. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering all the way back down. We're going to take it to the other side now. So lift, windshield, back to center. Keep that core balanced and engaged. Bringing those ribs to the hips. Couple more. Last one. Lift, windshield, and pulse it out. You've got it. Keeping it even. Squeeze, only 5 seconds left. You've got it. 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower those arms down. Push back, find that child's pose. We're going to take one big deep breath here. Exhale, let's push up. Let's come back into those normal cat-cows. So we're going to drop our back, lift our chest, nose to the ceiling. Inhale and exhale. Squeeze through the core, ribs to hips. Round out that back. Inhale, drop the chest, fill the belly. Exhale, press back up. One last time. In through the nose. And exhale. We're going to find that neutral spine now, so find that flat back. We're going to bring our fingertips inward a little bit, so we're going to point our elbows slightly outward. Just doing a little bit of a push-up series here. It's not as scary as it sounds, I promise. All we're doing, lower that chest to the inside of that diamond and press back up. Lower the chest and press back up. If you have super long legs, you can also use the blocks. Give yourself a little bit of elevation here and press back up. Coming into that ground component of today's workout. Warm up over. Ten more seconds. Keep those arms strong, backs engaged, squeeze the core. Controlled breaths for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna keep down, lowered to the ground, and we're just gonna pulse it out. You can do this as slow or as fast as you want to, but you wanna keep that constant tension through the arms the whole time. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Push back, find that child's pose. Roll out those wrists, give yourself a nice break. We're gonna hit another variation, and then our push-up series is over. One last deep breath in. We're coming all the way up. Let's walk our hands one step forward onto the top of our mat, trying to keep our hips rounded out. So we're going to squeeze our glutes, round out that back. That core's still engaged, but it's almost like we're in a knee push-up position here. We still want our fingertips to be pointing towards each other, so go ahead and internally rotate your wrists. All we're doing here, again, is that knee push-up. So lower down and press up. You might be feeling this a little bit more in your triceps, but you want to keep that core activated the whole time. Trying to tuck that tailbone, pelvic floor lifted up and in. For 3, 2, and 1. We're going to stay lower down to the ground and pulse it out. Find a tempo that you like with the music. You can pulse to that. Couple more seconds. You got it. Pushing through the chest. 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and lift up. Find that tabletop position. We're going to tuck our feet directly under us. Go ahead, cross them behind you. We're going to come all the way down to that seated position. The core segment of the workout for today. Option to use weights for this part as well. Completely up to you. You don't necessarily need it. All we're going to do is lower to our back. Go ahead and bring those knees up. Find that reverse tabletop position. You can bring your fingertips to your temples. And we're just going to slow crunch up. If it's uncomfortable having your feet in the air, or if it's just too difficult, you can always lower them down, plant them directly below your glutes, keeping your heels in line with your hips. We just want to activate the core here, so nothing too extreme. Just wake up the core a little bit. Option to use weights here. You can bring your arms to the sides of your hips if you'd like. Completely optional. Inhale to lower and exhale to lift. Couple more seconds. Slow and in control, gently rolling each row of your abdominals all the way up. One last deep breath in. We're going to extend our hands to either side of our hips, and we're just going to do little pulses at the top here. Feel free to drop your feet if that feels comfortable. Find that breath. You've got it. Halfway through, 15 seconds. for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Taking it straight into those ankle taps to the side for left and right. Activate those obliques. Try looking all the way up at the ceiling. You have a muscle that goes all the way from your neck to your core, and if you try to look at your knees here, you won't be able to activate that muscle. You've got it. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. All the way to the left. Just pulse to the left heel now. Isolating the left oblique, really working that one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it all the way to the right now. Isolate the right side, keeping it even. Couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1. And lift to the center. We'll just hold. You've got it. You can add in a little hundreds arm pulse if you want. Deep breaths for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and bring those knees up to your chest. Give them a nice hug. Feel free to rock side to side if you'd like. Control that breathing. One more deep breath in. Exhale. We're going to grab that right knee. Go ahead and extend out that left leg. If you feel like your back is tunneling, meaning that you have a space between your lower back and the mat, I want you to try to lift that left leg a little bit higher, just so we get more core activation in there. You want your back to be fully pressed against the mat. And we're just going to pull that right knee to our chest and alternate. Pull the left knee and pull the right. Trying to tuck that pelvic floor up and in. What that means is you're just trying to bring your hip bones to meet your ribs. Fully engaging the core. You've got it. Slightly adding on to this now, you have the option to keep your legs straight and try to pull that calf instead of that knee. This is just going to add a little bit of a stretch through the backs of your legs, but you still want to keep that core active. Five more seconds. Feel free to add on to this one here. You can extend both legs out, lift arms above your head, and pull the knees in. Extend, add that arm lift, and pull back in. This one's definitely a lot more complicated, so if you need a modification, feel free to take it. Or you can continue doing what we were doing before. Completely up to you. Just keep your core working. 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to pull those knees to our chest. Hug them real tight. Give your neck a break. Feel free to look both to the left and to the right. Feel a nice stretch through the neck. One more deep breath in. And exhale. We're going to find our knees in that reverse tabletop position. Go ahead and extend the legs out. Slightly drop them. Rebend the knee, come back into reverse tabletop position. You can add the weights in and hold them to the side if you want to add that arm component, completely up to you. But it's almost like we're just drawing a circle with our toes. Extend, lower, rebend. Again, we don't want to create a tunnel between our lower back and the mat right now. Just focus on drawing that circle. Couple more seconds for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to draw the circle the other way now. So we're going to gently lift those legs, rebend the knees, and extend out. Gently lift, rebend, extend out. Drawing that circle in the opposite direction. If your head gets too heavy at any point here and you're wanting to look up, you can also brace the back of your head with your hands too. Couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1. We're going to extend those legs all the way out and just hold. You've got it. 10 seconds. If you want to increase the intensity, you can always drop the legs a little bit lower. Completely up to you. And bring those knees back in. One last hug. Feel free to circle those knees a little bit. One more big deep breath. We're going to extend those legs all the way out, fully on the mat. And just do a few roll-ups here. So the first one I'm going to show without weights, just to engage the core a little bit more. We're going to extend the arms above our head. Go ahead and lift up, reach, and fold over those ankles. Lowering back down. Keep that core active, slow and in control. Overhead. Lift, reach, and fold over those legs. You can add the weights in if you'd like. Completely up to you. Using our core muscles to lower us and lift us. Only a couple more seconds here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to forward fold all the way over those legs, reaching for those toes. You can add a little rock here if that feels good to you. Just give yourself a nice break. One last deep breath in. We're going to come all the way back to that 4-point position. Hands and knees, tabletop here. One more deep breath in. Step each foot back. Coming all the way into that high plank. We're going to tuck the tailbone again. Squeeze the core. Ribs meeting hips. Pushing through those shoulders. You don't want to sag here. You want the back activated. Hold for one big deep breath in. And exhale, send those hips back. Squeeze the core, lifting all the way up. Alternate lifting those heels, pedaling out the feet, stretching out the backs of your legs. Length through the tailbone, really lifting it to the ceiling. And exhale, walking all the way up to the top of our mat. Find that forward fold. Gently swing side to side, feeling a nice stretch. Last deep breath in. We're coming all the way up, rolling the spine. Feel free to reach. Grab the weights if you would like. We're going to take a nice hip width stance coming into that squat position. We're just going to lower and lift. Send the hips back. Squeeze the glutes. Press through the quads. Lower and lift. Slow and in control. Option to add in a press at the top. Come back down, reach for the ground. Press and lower. At your own pace, with your breath here. Keeping everything even. Another deep breath. This time we're going to lower all the way down into that squat and just find some slow pulses. So we're not fully locking our legs at the top. We want to keep a slight bend at all times. Lift and lower. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's lower and hold into that squat, adding in a single heel lift, alternating left and right. Keep that breath. Core still engaged, so you don't want to fully fall over those knees here. You want to keep straight line between the hips and the shoulders if you can, or as well as you can. And just alternate. Squeeze the calf. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's come back into those squat presses. This time as you press, you have the option to lift both heels up as well. Keep a little bit of a calf workout. Deep breaths. Ten more seconds. You've got it. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's come back up. Shake out those legs. Give yourself a nice break. We have a whole lunge series coming up next, so if you need some water, feel free to get some. We're going to start with that left leg forward, coming all the way in front, really focusing on that left glute and left quad. Step back with that right leg. Feel free to take a few lunges here. Just make sure you're getting that muscle activation. And as you feel comfortable, you can add in a little bicep curl here. Just make sure whatever weight you're using on this side, you'll be able to replicate on the right. Deep breaths. Keep that weight even on that front foot. Knee is stacked over the ankle, or at least between the heel of your foot and your toes. Couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's hold in that lunge and just do some bicep curls. You've got it. Make sure there's still a slight bend in the elbow as you go to the bottom. Constant tension between the bicep. Couple more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to pulse it out. Almost done. 15 seconds. You've got it. Strong legs here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straight into the bend and straighten of the back leg. Try matching the beat of that music here. You can add in that tricep extension. Take those breaks if you need it. Your leg might be on fire right now. 5 seconds. 3. Last one. We're going to hold in that upright position. Just pulse out the back arms. Tricep extension, pulse. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Adding on. Let's tap that leg forward and back. Tap it forward and back. Control that breathing. Slow it down if you need to. Deep breaths. 3, 2, 1. Let's pulse it back with those triceps. Last little burn. 3, 2, 1. Fully standing up. Go ahead and shake out that leg. One more deep breath in. We're going to press those arms all the way up and overhead. Bring that knee up. Find tree pose here. If you have some difficulty with balance, you can always just take it into a tap or completely lower those toes to the ground. We're going to hold and extend that leg. Rebend and extend. Just keep breathing. 3, 2. Find that balance. Last one, adding on, we're going to tap the ground and lift. Tap and lift. Keep that core engaged. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to kick that leg back, slowly lower down to the ground. Pressing into the ground. Both palms, feel free to move those weights out of the way if you'd like. Just hold, give yourself a nice break. Find a nice stretch through this high lunge here. One last deep breath in. And exhale, we're going to step that back foot forward and back. Step forward and back. Option to use those blocks here for my tall folks out there. You can speed it up if you want to add a little bit more of a cardio component here. Completely up to you. "15 more seconds. You've got it. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to keep that leg stepped back, still finding that high lunge. Option to lower all the way down to a low lunge if that feels more comfortable for you. We're just going to straighten out that front leg. Find that pyramid pose. Hold here for a couple breaths. Just let yourself adjust. Feel that stretch. Let's find that flow. We're going to bend and straighten. If you want to feel a little bit more of a calf stretch there, you can always lift your toes up to meet the ceiling. Completely up to you. Just keep your breath here. Use this as a nice stretch break before we switch over to the other side. You've got it. Couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Let's rebend and step that other leg all the way up. Find that forward fold. Feel free to grab those weights again. Not going into that lunge series yet, but we're going to do a little bit more squats, a little bit more core action. We're going to have a wider squat here, and we're going to point our toes completely externally rotated, coming into more of a plie squat. Feel free to bring those fingertips to our temples. We're going to lower and lift, trying to keep that straightness between your hips and your shoulders. Lower and lift. Option to do a bicep curl instead if you want those gains. Really waking up the legs here. Only a couple more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to hold in that squat. Let's go ahead and bring our fingertips to our temples if we hadn't already. Slight drop to each side. It's almost like we're bringing our elbow to our knee. You should be feeling this a lot in the core. If you're not, maybe slow it down a little bit. Rise up in that squat. Whatever helps you. Couple more seconds. You've got it. Squeeze that core for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's bring it over to the right side and just pulse it out. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And left side, pulse it out. Follow the beat for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming all the way up into that standing position. We're going to come into that press and lower. Press. You can add that heel lift if you'd like. Create a little bit more of a balance challenge here. Deep breaths. Slow and steady. For 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Go ahead and shake it out. We're going to come back into that lunge series that we loved so much last time. Let's bring that right foot directly in front. Step that left foot back, making sure our heel is directly under our knee, or our knee is stacked between our ankle and our toes. Feel free to take a few lunges here just to make sure you're feeling that activation in the glute and in the quads as you press up. Option to add in that bicep curl if that feels good to you. Trying to keep things even for the left side, so whatever weight you used on the left, recommend using it again for the right. Slight bend in those elbows the whole time. Couple more seconds. You got it. 3, 2, 1. We're going to hold in that lunge, and we're going to bicep curl it out. Think about how much your legs are going to feel great tomorrow. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to pulse out that lunge. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten that back leg and rebend. You can add in that tricep kickback if you want. Activating the backs of those arms. Keep that weight. Focus in that glute and the quads. Almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold and pulse those arms back. Keep that breath. 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's pulse that foot in and press back. Pulse in and back. Deep breaths here. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Pull that leg in and pulse back with those arms. Little extra burn. Just keep that breath. 10 more seconds. You've got it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Standing all the way up. Shake out those legs. Give them a nice break. Wake up those glutes. We're going to press those arms directly overhead. Find that tree pose one last time. Check in with your balance. One side might be better than the other. Feel free to take any of those modifications, doing the taps, or just keep that toe pressed into the ground. Brace through the core. Press through all 4 corners of your foot. Option to add on. We're just going to extend and rebend. Extend and rebend. Couple more seconds. Option to do that tap and lift. Good exercise for the hip flexors. Tap and lift. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'll step back that foot. Find that lunge. Let yourself adjust. Holding that stretch. Feel free to grab those blocks here if you need a little extra support. Just let yourself adjust. Before we add in a little bit of that cardio component, go ahead and bring that left foot up and step back. Up and step back. Still squeezing through the glutes here. You can increase the intensity and go a little bit faster, completely up to you. 10 seconds. Push yourself or take a break, whatever you need here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to hold in that high lunge. Feel free to take it all the way down to a low lunge. We're going to straighten out that front leg. You can keep that front leg straight too from the low lunge position as well. If you want to add a little bit more of a calf stretch, you can lift those toes all the way up. Completely optional, whatever you need right now. Again, trying to feel that nice stretch before we add in that flow. Feel free to bend that front knee and straighten it back out. If you want to just hold in that stretch, feel free to do so as well. Coming down into that cool down period. If you forgot to start your watch, me too. Sad face. Just keep breathing. One more deep breath in. I'm going to re-bend that front leg. Feel free to lower down if you were in that high lunge position. I'm going to move those blocks out of the way and step that back foot back. I'm going to find that high plank and just hold here. Tuck the tailbone under. And a nice stretch to the shoulders. Exhale, lowering all the way down onto those knees. Press back, child's pose. Nice stretch through the upper body. Try walking your fingertips a little bit further up the mat if you can. Find that length. Deep breaths. Come all the way back into that extended cat-cow. Hips lower onto the mat. And gently lower yourself all the way down. Find that Sphinx pose. Rolling up that neck. Exhale, lowering all the way down. Go ahead and grab that left leg. Reach back. If you can't grab your foot, go ahead and just reach. If you can grab your foot, we're going to gently pull the heel all the way into that glute, feeling a stretch through the quad. Another deep breath in. Go ahead and drop that leg. We're going to reach back and grab the right. Pull in the heel into the glute. If you want an extra challenge, go ahead and reach for the left foot at the same time. Coming all the way into that bow and arrow pose. You're going to press your hips into the mat. Squeeze through the core. And press all the way up, feeling that stretch. And exhale, lowering all the way back down. Feel free to roll over onto your back here. We're going to bring those legs up. I know everyone hates happy baby because it looks kind of funny, but we're going to grab onto the insides of our feet. Pull our legs up. And just feel a stretch through the glutes and the hips, backs of our legs. This is honestly a great lower body stretch if you're looking for one. Feel free to rock side to side if that feels good to you. We'll go ahead and drop the feet all the way down. Taking that right leg, we're going to lift it all the way up. Kick the outside of our ankle on the top of our left knee. Feel free to stay here if this stretch is already good for you. Or you can go ahead and grab onto that shin and just gently pull it closer to you. We're going to send our hands to either side of our body. Gently let those hips fall to the left. Go ahead and hold here. Lifting all the way back up. We're going to unhook that right leg from our left, kick our left leg up, hook it over top of the right. Feel free to stay here or grab onto the leg. I'm going to send our hands either side of our body. Gently let those hips fall to the right. Come into that lower back stretch. One more deep breath in. Feel free to stay and stretch. I know we didn't get a whole lot of stretch time today, but we're running out of class time. Other than that, sorry for destroying your legs. Hopefully we see you again on Thursday.